walking the light. Understand there's a fire to ignite. You know we have a responsibility. It's true, we've been chosen, and now we have the possibility of melting what's frozen. Walk with me with the rapture inside. Can't you see it's not our place to decide? You know we have to make a case for love. It's more of a duty. It's clear we have a mission from above, a mission of beauty. You know I wouldn't lie to you. What would I achieve by that? Running towards the light, this tunnel vision got me losing sight. I'm on a mission, had you by my side, and now you're missing. Lost my appetite, it's my condition. It's my condition. It's my condition. Running towards the light, this tunnel vision got me losing sight. I'm on a mission, had you by my side, and now you're missing. Lost my appetite, it's my condition. I know, I did it to my mind. I know, I let it show sometimes. I know, I did it to my mind. I know, I let it show sometimes. Running towards the light. Running towards the light, this tunnel vision got me losing sight. I'm on a mission, had you by my side, now you're missing. Lost my appetite, it's my condition. It's my condition. It's my condition.
Yeah, welcome to the Machine Lives, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. And I got an interesting um, show for you guys. I think we'll be considering lots of topics that bring the main ideas in the show into focus. Today we'll be taking a little detour, which I think is interesting, right? In terms of we're going to have artificial intelligence examine the first live stream we've made, right? So this is a sort of different type of thought exercise, right, that we're sort of engaging in. Okay. Now, obviously, most of the major topics that we discuss on the show, we've laid out on the first episode we've done, right? So now, obviously, there's a confusion between the types of episodes, right? Because we have the regular show, the machine lives, and we have the live stream. I'm referring to the first live stream in which we performed, right? And we unveiled, I think, a whole slew of topics for the show during this. And it's interesting. to see what the major topics were in terms of obviously Uncle Teddy's manifesto, right? We covered lots of material on Uncle Teddy's manifesto and how it relates to the modern world. Obviously, he got a lot of his ideas from Jacques Ellul, and we've studied a lot of what Ellul has written in the Technological Society. So that's been a lot of the main focus on the show. Now we've done other things, right? Like for example, we've explored forms of theological speculation, right? Like, for example, we've debated about the origins of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, for example, and so on and so forth, right? We've presented tons of information, right, to put those different ideas into their historical context, right? And of course, we've provided a certain amount of material on Eastern religions as well, right? Like Hinduism, right? I don't know if Zoroastrianism would be considered Eastern, but certainly we've talked about Zoroastrianism. Okay, we've mentioned different ideas and contextualized different ideas in the debate between the Confucians and the Taoists scholars, right? So we've unveiled a certain level of debate between them, right, in our attempt to understand Eastern ideas, right, and themes. We've obviously explored the ideas of Western philosophy that are pretty much well known, right? And we've looked at the pre-Socratics. We've discussed the views of you know some of the ancient thinkers, right? Like Plato and Aristotle, but we've also discussed some of the views of the modern thinkers like Hegel and Marx and Nietzsche, okay, and so on and so forth. And we have presentations on those. Now, we will be compiling all of our presentations that we've done so far into a giant compilation and series, right? Obviously, we have all the videos. And of course, we've done notable presentations on Nietzsche's Antichrist, on the Tao Te Ching, on the philosophical manuscripts of Karl Marx, right? Of reason and history and Hegel and different ideas and themes that relate to Hegel's philosophy and his philosophical conceptions and themes. Okay, and of course, we've explored a number of ideas. Recently we looked at the work of Martin Heidegger, right? Martin Heidegger is another hugely influential sort of Western thinker and philosopher, right? So it add him to the list of people that we're sort of concerned with, right? In their sort of critiques of both ancient and modern philosophy. Okay, obviously, in terms of theological speculations, right, looking at different political theories and systems, right, like Locke and Rousseau, and examining obviously the main impetus for the show, right, which are works like Lewis Mumford's Myth of the Machine, okay, or Jacques Ellul's Technological Society, or Dr. David Scribina's Metaphysics of Technology. Okay, and the writings of Uncle Teddy, right? Which his name shall not be mentioned on YouTube, right? So there's a bunch of people that they're gonna get paid to start a YouTube revolution, and get a job, goy. And obviously there's a lots of chicanery on these interwebs, right? We've unveiled the chicanery, right? We've looked at the pseudo intellects, the pseudo comedians, the pseudo, just people who are trying to manufacture drama and pretend they're real people, right? And so on and so forth. Playing characters on a screen and then manufacturing the content, and they've done this for years. And when you call it out, they start talking about how much money and how much views they get. And right, like as if the world revolves around that sort of thing. It clearly doesn't, right? So, we have to really discover, where we're at in this sort of modern situation, right? And that's why we've unveiled different techniques, from theologians, from philosophers, from sociologists and anthropologists, right? From the ancient thinkers, right? Like Socrates and Lao Tzu. Okay, and of course, we've looked at the primary sources. A lot of times when giving renditions of history or different things, will arrive at certain conclusions, and of course, people will challenge those, and they're free to challenge, the various conclusions we've reached on different topics, right? Obviously, the show has been open the entire time for the entirety of the show. So the lack of challengers and the people that are keyboard warriors is obvious at this point, right? And so on and so forth. Lack of participation. This is largely um, it's scholarly or research enterprise that's guided mainly just by me, right? There's nobody adding to the material here, so on and so forth, right? There's been people that have attempted to correspond with the channel material. Okay. Other than, I think, me and just Reddington, right? There's really nobody who understands the material. I think me and Reddington are the only one. That's why Reddington's just a co-host, right? I'm just here, right? So it's just like we're just here, right? I don't know. There's a lack of voices that are able to challenge or voice successful, opposition to these ideas and concepts, and that's why we're looking at these themes, right? And of course, very controversial ideas. I was on a stream yesterday and we started to, you know, debate, science versus religion. And, it ended up in some pretty interesting places, right? People, I think they draw a false dialectic, right, between science and religion. Okay. And I'll come to explain what I mean by that, right? But first, I want to sort of go to the chat here, right? We're going to explore topics of science, topics of religion. Okay. Now, whether it's science or religion, I think the topic of technology has central importance. So I'll weave that into the discussion. And obviously, anybody's welcome to join the chat, right? So let's take a look at who's here. I appreciate you guys. Um okay, so I explained this idea about the moderators. Everyone's lost their moderator except for 4 people. So there are no moderators except for 4 people. So if you lost your moderator, don't take it personally, right? I took everyone's, right? I had too many mods. Okay, so that's all that happened, right? So no, nobody's offended me, nobody's done anything. Yeah, exactly, right? Frank made a video saying, um, wondering if he's offended me. I don't really take offense, right? I just kind of move forward, right? We're involved in a certain number of considerations here, and obviously they take time to unravel. So, and there's only so much time in the world, and there's only so much StreamYard hours that we actually pay for, right? So we have to simply just move on with the material, right? But I appreciate you guys. You know, um, Hey, TML will pop in. Oh yeah, Emily said she might come by. I appreciate you, Emily. If you want to pop in, that would be a great time. All right. I'm sure we could have great conversations. I appreciate your correspondence here on the show and in the chat. Remote viewing class. Check his channel out if you haven't seen it. Right, you could probably learn a lot. Is very knowledgeable elder gentleman. And very much thank you for your correspondence on a number of issues exposing, right, the, uh, sort of techno hellscape, right? That is, technocalypse, right? And definitely you've unveiled certain technologies that I think people should have awareness of, and so on and so forth. Dirty low life. Hello, exactly. Yeah, blessings. Okay, who else is here? Yeah, blessings, Denise. I appreciate you so much. So we are very much tired today. We have no sleep. Okay, so this is a factor. Okay, and we have recently come into a sort of loss of sort of support, emotional sort of wellness, right? So we are a little bit unstable, right? So I'm simply trying to present the material to the best of my ability. Obviously, these shows are scheduled every week, so whatever mood I'm in doesn't really matter. But this time I'm in a especially just dark place, and I won't be sharing what that is because I really want to move to the material because we spent so much time talking about me and my personal hangups and issues. If you don't know by now, you're probably haven't been watching that long, and I'm not going to introduce my all right travails into your, you know, um, But yeah, blessings to Doctor E. All right. We should challenge ourselves and our opinions. Yeah, exactly. Don't you think it's a little bit arrogant? What's a little bit arrogant? What's a little bit arrogant? Don't you think it's a little bit arrogant? Aren't you a little bit arrogant? I don't know. Like, what an arrogant statement. Right? Like, check yourself. Check your attitude at the door. We're here to talk about different topics that I present. All right. So if you're not interested in them, go watch a different show. It's really that fucking um really that fucking easy. Right. We've had dozens of people make material about this show. We love it. It makes us spreads our name out there, right? So yeah, go make a thing. Right. Buffering. Nah. No buffering here. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. They're probably trying to thwart my shit, dude. Like, you ever think of that? You ever think they just don't want this shit to go out? All right, it is what it is, man. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, stream after we get some rest. I may take a break soon. I'll let you guys know. I may take like 2 weeks off because I'm going through some very dark stuff here. So I may just take 2 weeks off, right, at some point. I'll let you guys know when that happens, right? And so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking through comments, so hopefully, um, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. All right, yeah, okay, so let's get it started. And that's everyone in the chat. So I appreciate you guys. For watching and now obviously this is all recorded, so even if it is buffering, don't worry, just go back and watch it later, right? Usually I keep all of the video. I've kept all of the videos up so far, so it won't be a problem. But okay, so let's move to the topic. There's lots of different ideas that I'd like to mention in terms of religion and science, right? So there's false dialectic between science and religion, right? False dialectic between science and religion, right? Now two key factors remain, right? One is, where is the cutoff point, right, between science and religion? Meaning that when do we move from a religious age and enter a scientific age? And one may say that this epochal view of history is sort of, it's sort of like a sort of pseudo dispensationalism, right? What do you mean there's like this epoch of religion and epoch of science? Nobody even says it that way, right? But obviously, right, they've claimed that science answers most problems that religion cannot answer in our modern age. And yeah, there's this idea that you know it wasn't religious people that created the sort of scientific worldview, right? And I think that these are false presumptions, right? First of all, there's no cutoff point between the period of the religious age and the scientific age. There's no clean break. Okay, and even if you can find that clean break in the Western world, you can't find it in the global world, right? So, and obviously, it was mostly religious people with a different interpretation of religion and science, and sometimes they combined religion and science into this idea of alchemy and all this type of stuff. Okay, and in the 1800s, there was a huge battle between scientism and spiritualism in America. Okay, and there's huge thinkers like William James and C.S. Peirce, that are coming up with this idea, right? So I greatly appreciate you guys talking to us about the major issues. Now, on the side of science, right, it's clear that science is not in charge of, sort of civilization, or what type of civilization does it seek to create? Right, that's a interesting question, right? And obviously, there's this idea of liberalism or humanism or universalism, and that kind of adds a unique dimension to the problem itself, right? Now, I want to circle back to this idea of, religion, right? Because whether you are talking about the atheists, okay, this sort of dipshittery, okay, of their sort of blaming religion for all the problems in the world, okay? Or you're talking about the conspiracy guys, right? Because the conspiracy guys, they either find that it's the Jews or the Catholics or some religious group, right? So they think that the ones that blame the Jews, they usually blame Muslims and Christians too, right? The ones that are blaming the Catholics, right? They're simply thinking that if we solve this religious issue, right? If we dominate over religion, right? If the religious form of understanding lapses in society, right? Then we will finally be able to have freedom and understanding and science and liberalism and so on and so forth. So this idea, right, that the atheists blame religion as the main problem in the world, right? The conspiracy guys, right? They either blame the Catholics or the Jews, so they're basically blaming, right, the entire a religious scope for their problems, right? And they're espousing a sort of neo-paganism. Of course, the occultists blame religion, right? That's pretty clear. Okay, and the religious people themselves, they think that their particular sect will dominate, right? So they're fundamentally opposed to all other religious types, even their own kind, right? Because again, the people who are fundamentally engrossed within some sort of religious form of thinking, they think that their particular sect will dominate over all the others and take over their particular, religious ideal, right? Which is just fanciful thinking. Okay, so whether you're talking to these atheists, these conspiracy guys, right, or these fucking religious guys, right, they all blame the wrong part of the issue, right? They're sort of just circling around the wrong parts of the issue, right? They don't really see the how it doesn't matter what religion you have today, right? And you can keep your religion in your closet, but you can't question the myths of progress, right? The myths of the machine, right? The myth of man, right? These are things that cannot be questioned, right? The progress of technology, the progress of these modern inventions, right? The progress of human civilization, the ingenuity of man, right? The ability to go and create your own world, right, and dominate and change your reality, and so on and so forth, right? These are seen as the ultimate, sort of goal, right, of modernism. Okay, and some may say modern civilization is in a rush to take control of the birds of the sky, the fish of the sea, the um, you know, and the beasts of the land, and so on and so forth. And they're busy trying to contemplate, right, the dominion of nature. Okay, and they may say that man has subsumed nature, and the machine will subsume man. Okay, so this is an interesting dilemma that they're sort of bringing up, right? And I'm simply going in no particular direction with this, right? We have another contestant here, lucky contestant. Okay, so anyways, anybody's free to call in. There's obviously key people we rather not talk to because of their nonsensical LARP, right? And so on and so forth. But indeed, so I was talking about this dialectic between science and religion, how the religious people think they're in charge, how the scientists don't really have clear goals, right? And they don't put the responsibility on anyone in particular of civilization. It's sort of this idea of individualism versus collectivism that ends up in no one having a balance or understanding of either ecology or humanity or politics. And obviously, these are part of the old religion, right? The ecological sensibility, right? The political sensibility, right? The cultural sensibility. These are part of the old religion, right? These are myths of the past. Look at that. These will become ideals, right? The new sort of myths are post-human, right? In every um, you know sense and characterization, right? So we've come here to explore a these key issues between science and religion, which can dominate. Now, obviously, the religiotards and the science tards, right, or whatever, right? They've done quite a number, right, on blocking discourse, right, and so on and so forth. And obviously, technology is never the problem, and and so on and so forth, and you know, and it's always man that's the problem, right? It's either man or religion or sometimes they blame if they want to really be sort of leftist, right? They'll blame culture or the state. Okay, but yeah, that's as far as they come in their sort of pseudo intellectualism. And considering the problem, they'll attack liberalism or they'll attack religion, and obviously these are residual. Um, you know, these are residual, right? My period, right? So to sort of blame, spend your entire intellectual energies on them is sort of nonsensical. The sort of frivolity of this engagement. Okay, it's usually to gain clout, gain points, find some sort of division or a group that you could capitalize on, and you know what I mean, right? And these people are fucking lonely, right? They're depraved, right? I've spent like a long time alone, folks, all right, and all right, I've spent a little bit of that time taking care of people, and they've not rewarded me well for that, right? And so on and so forth, and you know, yeah, it's a hard knock life. All right. But yeah, I appreciate the time. But yeah, I just simply feel like there's nobody really chatting about, what I've been putting down. Right. I mean, I guess I've been talking for, you know, um,
Do you think transhumanism could ever become a philosophy or a religion?
yeah, thank you, Max. Yeah, somebody chimed in. Yeah, I think it is a religion, right?
It's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and Red are on the same page with this. Yeah, it's already there. Science is deeply mythological. Okay, the space The conquest of space is a deeply mythological project, paralleling the pyramids of ancient Egypt. Right? It's just this is what we're doing, right? This is our project of civilization, right? This fulfills our myth. Somebody spent. Well, why would you spend millions and billions of dollars to spend you send a monkey in there, right? Or do something nonsensical, right? Or send a fucking Tesla car in there. It's just a conquest, right? It's just the idea of expressing your ability to do something, right? And this is the point, right? Once you have the capacity, you will do it, right? Whatever can be
Well,
done will be done, right? And that is the rule of technology, right?
regardless of whatever religion people have, they all
Exactly.
use the same technology.
That's right. Thank you. All right. So, I mean, I've been talking for 39 minutes here. I do have as I said, uh, artificial intelligence explains the first video I made here, right? On this live stream experience, right? And indeed it was a debate with a online influencer who's gained a certain amount of prominence right now. Because I don't care for his brand of commentary, I just simply just won't mention the name, right? Go and check out our old videos or whatever. I'm not trying to promote their material or say that I'm a big guy because I debated some big influencer on the internet. I could care less about the credence, and that's why we will hear the AI give a version of their debate. So you don't know who the debate is between. The debate is between me and an interlocutor, right? Obviously, I'm the side that is supporting the idea that we cannot control technology. They're on the side that we're totally in control of technology. And we'll hear the AI analyze the video I've made and analyze the main talking points, right? Which I've never done before on the show. But as I've listened to this rendition from Notebook LLM, I actually think it's pretty useful and interesting because in this video or debate that I had, I actually laid out most of the fundamental topics of the show, right? I laid out pretty much broadly speaking, the case against the machine, right? So we will sort of check it out, right? And check out the opposition, right? The opposing side. Of course, we can say, and then maybe we can have a lively discussion, or maybe during the video. Obviously, I'm able to pause it, right? And obviously on the other show, right? Tomorrow, right? We're looking at Heidegger, right? Martin Heidegger, his essay on the question concerning technology. It's a unique piece, right? First of all, unique because it's written in the philosophical jargon of one Martin Heidegger, which is extremely maddening, and people have said it's hard to understand, right? And actually, when we studied it, right, with Skirbina, right, he actually gave us a glossary of German terms to go along with the reading, right? So you could constantly refer to the glossary to decode the text because this guy has invented his own terms, right? He's invented his own philosophical terms, and that's why it's extremely maddening to read this stuff, right? And he said, it goes better with the fifth of whiskey, right, and so on and so forth, right? As some would say, proof is
Nice.
for yeah,
What doesn't?
yeah, yeah. As some would say, proof is for alcohol, right? So let's continue with the video or debate presentation, and I guess I'll have to share this. And this is why I am freezing a lot, because I believe this is taking up a lot of space. I mean, it's a huge presentation here, right? But yeah, so we did this debate on the technological collapse. Oh God, they put the name in there. Ah, fuck it, we'll put it up there. Fuck you. But yeah, the juiceable folks. But yeah, bunch of
It's not showing.
oh whoops. The gay ass juiceable, right? So it is what it is, right? Obviously we don't support that platform, and look at this thing that this guy just made. I mean, look at this, man. This is really weird, man. Like, what the fuck kind of video is this?
Exactly where we are. A few weeks ago, Brian Atlas, a friend of mine who runs the Whatever podcast, offered up $100,000 for Candace Owens to debate with me about the murder of Charlie Kirk on his platform. He eventually raised it to $150,000, to which I said I would match it if we could actually debate on neutral ground. I expressed this story recently on the Joe Rogan podcast. Candace and her fans' reactions were volatile, to say the least. She issued a strange counter that I needed to pay her $500,000.
God damn, dude. Pay this bitch 2 houses and a car just to have a stupid ass fucking debate over nonsense. God damn, these motherfuckers are stupid watching this shit. I have no words to say. And why does he look like he's in a room where like the Al Qaeda guy is like gonna hold a gun to his head on the side of the camera? You know, he looks like he looks like he's in a hostage situation, for fuck's sake. I mean, right? Like he's like in a.
I thought it was AI for a second. Like, what the heck is this?
That could be, yeah. That
No,
could be.
he's definitely coping.
Super weird video. But anyways, here's the analysis of the debate by the AI, right? Of his positions and my positions. So let's check it out.
Welcome to the debate. You know, when you look at...
So can you guys hear that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, thank goodness, because I would just then have to speak for 20 more minutes because I'd have no no thing that I was referring to earlier.
At a simple hammer sitting on a workbench, there is a comforting simplicity to it. You see the wood, you see the steel.
Right, it's just an object.
Exactly. It's completely inert. It possesses no will, no momentum of its own. It simply waits for a human hand to pick it up and give it purpose.
Yeah.
But when you zoom out from that workbench...
So the girl is supposed to be the side that's pro-technology, right? And the man is supposed to be against technology, but something strange happens when I was listening to it the first time. The voices change. So don't let this dismay you. Apparently the voices change, but their views remain the same. I don't know. It's mind-boggling, but maybe it won't happen. But yeah.
Bench and look at our modern reality. I mean, a fully automated global supply chain or, high-frequency trading algorithms.
Oh, sure. Executing millions of decisions in a microsecond.
Right. That hammer metaphor suddenly feels, well, hopelessly naive. So today, we are exploring an intellectual framework drawn from the writings of Ted Kaczynski on the nature of the technological society. We're investigating a profound philosophical dichotomy regarding our tools.
Basically asking if we are actually the ones steering the ship.
Yes, which is fundamentally where I stand. Or if, as you suggest, the ship is driving itself.
Yeah, that's exactly the divide we're looking at today.
Right. So I will argue that human agency and will ultimately govern technology, making reform and renaissance possible. While my colleague will argue that the technological system operates outside of human control, making systemic collapse, well, an inevitability we must embrace.
Okay, so this is interesting, right? Because, the Renaissance was not caused by technology, right? That is a stupefying explanation of it, right? Definitely not the Italian Renaissance. I think it was maybe concurrent with the sort of printing press or whatever like that, but yeah, they still had sort of old methods of art. The thing that created the Renaissance was cultural refinement, not technological advancement, right? So this is a stupefying concept, right? But yeah, the thing
people
that
try to use too simple of an analogy,
yeah. So she's a little bit idiotic there, but she's only a computer, so
I am. Because, to truly understand the nature of the technological society, we really have to strip away the romanticism we instinctively attach to human invention.
You mean the idea that we're masters of our domain?
Exactly. We desperately want to believe that. But if you look at this systematically, drawing from the core premises of the source material, a very different picture emerges.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Well, I approach this from 3 foundational realities. First, this highly integrated technological system, it just cannot be meaningfully reformed from within. Second, because of its massive complexity, the breakdown of this system is mathematically inevitable. And
okay, so there's the one thing, right, is that reform of the system is not possible, right? The second thing is that collapse of the system is inevitable. Okay, so this is apparent with the sort of complexity and growth of the system. Okay, that obviously nation states will totally lose control. Okay, to you know, inter governmental, right, like sort of global corporate entities, right? So this idea that this sort of creating the world system by technological means doesn't put it in sort of set limitations, that it's headed in a certain direction, that it has to amass more resources, it has to assimilate more humans, it has to assimilate more of the Earth's resources, it has to create more technological advancement, right? Whereas for thousands of years, right, humanity functioned in a stable state, where there's ebbs and flows, right, of culture, advancement, declinement. We had all sorts of religion, right? We invented all sorts of scientific, ideas and advancements, most of them that are still being used today for most of our technological inventions. So there's a grave difference between technological innovation and scientific advancement, right?
Yeah, a lot of those advancements we had a lot of time to adjust to using. Technology is on a runaway train right now, where it's basically the point comes down to if we don't do it, somebody else will, and then we'll be behind, and that's one of the factors that drives it forward so fast.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the first 2 points. Let's see what other points. This is from my opening statement still.
Third, to mitigate massive human suffering, it is intellectually honest to anticipate and accept this collapse, rather than constantly propping up a failing structure.
That is a very deterministic lens.
It is, but to
So there's this idea, right? So the guy came right out the gate and started attacking the notion that we don't have free will. Stupefying, right? Which is a philosophical quagmire, right? That he's introduced, right? Which has nothing to do with
Isn't
the
that
issue of
also like
whether
a
we.
religious argument he should be arguing for? Like, as a
Yeah,
religious proponent, shouldn't he be arguing for free will?
right, and he definitely shouldn't be arguing for the domination of the techno-industrial system, which has caused a total collapse in traditions around the world, right? A total spoon feeding of monoculture into the minds of millions of people, that's supported by liberalism and universalism and collectivism and all sorts of these notions, that's paraded around by the world system, right? That he thinks that these things promote religion. Are you kidding me? Right? Or that they'll lead to a renaissance. You got to have a pie in the sky delusion to kind of think this kind of stuff, right? And of course, they're selling this to the people to support the status quo, right? Because they are, frauds. Let's just face it, folks. What else can you say?
understand why, we have to look at the philosophical roots of technology itself. Like the Greeks defined it by combining two concepts. There's techne, which is the craft or the method,
Right.
and logos, the underlying order or transcendental idea. When you write a piece of code or build an algorithm, the techne, you are basically locking a specific worldview, the logos, into an automated process.
Boom, motherfucker! I said that shit in the debate, motherfucker. So yeah, it is what it is. Techne and logos. What you gonna do now? Locks a worldview into an automated process. Boom. What do you got for your entire Christian worldview now, right? Which they hide behind to do their little debates, tactics, as Truth or Cop pointed out. I mean,
It's like
Interesting.
being
Yeah, and
devoid of
once that
soul.
yeah, exactly, right?
I was looking for a word for it, but that's about as close as I can get.
Yeah. Fanged Numina.
knowledge is externalized into a technique, it functions entirely independent of human morality. Code becomes law. The global technological system we live under is not, a democracy of ideas.
No, of course not.
Right. It is governed by a rule of experts who pursue maximum efficiency at the absolute expense of human agency. It acts as a unified planetary mechanism that just continues.
Boom. There's this idea, right? The idea of A, the rule of experts, B, the world system. Nobody has responsibility in such a system. Right? Again, to reiterate the point I made on the last video, right, from the Alul documentary, right, where they interview Alul, called Betrayal of Technology. We watched the entire thing here. I highly recommend it. Several copies of it available on YouTube if you search it up. Right? He says that, if a dam breaks, who do you blame? The geologists who plan the the landscape, right? The the architects and the engineers that built the structure, right? Or the politicians that decided the plan of where we're going to build this dam, right? The answer is no one. No one is responsible when the dam breaks, right? And it's technology that makes this lack of responsibility possible, right? Lack of agency possible, lack of local autonomy possible. So, this is 3 minutes in. I kind of just have to be quiet and let this play out. But yeah.
Continually erases traditional cultural frameworks in favor of its own expansion.
Well,
But yeah, guys, please do comment if you have something to say.
I appreciate the architectural way you are building that argument, but I approach this from a fundamentally different baseline regarding human nature.
Okay?
Human beings possess an intrinsic will, a moral consciousness that completely supersedes any artificial system. The laws of logic and human intention govern the material world, not the other way around.
I mean, I would challenge that.
Well, let me finish the thought. Technology, no matter how staggering its complexity, it remains an extension of human intention. It is a neutral tool.
Even at the scale of our current systems?
Yes,
So
even
we
then.
enslave ourselves
Let's move
then.
past
Yeah, yeah. So he asked a good question. He said, even at the scale of our current systems, right? So that's the argument about the scale. It's not human scale, right? It's not scaled to a local community either, right? So
Certainly not.
so it makes that pretty much impossible, right? With increased centralization of large scale technology. Right now, now is technology neutral? This is one of the main issues of the show, right? Obviously, I think one of the main arguments is that technology is not just tools, right? It's entire processes that become encoded over time, and they become part of the civilizational sort of landscape and cultural assimilation of different types, right? And so on and so forth. So it becomes a entire a process that supersedes whole generations, and obviously it's subservient to a rule of experts, and they themselves are conditioned by the use of machines and the
Right.
previous knowledge of the previous generation. So it's this entire so do we
Technology seems
control?
to serve its own growth,
Yeah,
I would
Does an
say.
individual? Yeah, exactly, truther. And does an individual control this process? Certainly not. Right? It's not up to the individual. Yes, the individual chooses what type of tools and machines to use, but if you smash your computer right now, it won't change people's relationship to computers, and that's why your particular use of it is not in the scope of the discussion when we're talking about can you control it, right? And is the use optional? Is reform possible? Right? And all of these ideas, right, that we'll quickly mention as sort of rebuttals to this idea. But of course, it's a unique issue. Probably nobody's heard the opposing side, right? You usually probably always hear that you can control technology, that technology is a human product, blah, 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 right? We've heard it hundreds of times. You've never heard the opposing side, right? That it's this sort of almost alien process, right, in human civilization that sort of introduces itself, builds up over time, and builds up in a sort of exponential and geometric rate, right, across different cultures, and that's why it's hard to determine, right?
the hammer and look at something cutting edge, like CRISPR gene editing technology.
Sure.
CRISPR is incredibly complex, but inherently it has no moral trajectory. I mean, it can be used to engineer devastating biological weapons, or it can be used to eradicate sickle cell anemia.
True, the mechanism doesn't choose.
Exactly. The protein mechanism itself does not want to do either. The outcome is entirely dependent on the ethical framework and the will of the human scientist wielding it.
But
So therefore, the premise that the system cannot be reformed relies on a fatalistic view of humanity that history just doesn't support.
how so?
Human history is not a static march toward deterministic
Once we
doom.
release
Whenever a
autonomous
society
machines, once we release autonomous machines, our morality or our ethics may not matter at all.
Exactly. Right.
You know,
And also, you know, automatism, as Alul says, it sort of signals the death of capitalism, right? Because you can have a company, with no employees, right? So this changes the scope of capitalism, indeed, right? So this is a huge problem, right? Where you can't really have capitalism outright. It's a combination between sort of techno feudalism and a bunch of other different systems, right?
and you could
reaches a
have the
crisis
reverse
point.
on. You can also have the reverse problem of that of somebody putting all of their own ethics into a machine and having it operate as themselves.
Right,
Unethical.
right. And yeah, obviously our ethical frameworks are not determined, right? And who's the best guy to determine them, right? We haven't found that guy, right? So to think that some guy's going to program that into a machine, I mean, you better think twice, right?
It's
Human consciousness.
Yeah,
the
yeah. Go ahead, Rick.
problem is it's exactly because it's neutral. That's the problem, because anybody can program the machine to be whatever they want. Yeah, it could do some good, but largely you can't have the good without the bad. You have to
Yeah,
have both. That's the problem with neutrality.
yeah, yeah, and definitely that's why we've said that, at one rate, right? A machine can only do what it's programmed to do, so the machine cannot lie, but a machine that's programmed to lie cannot tell the truth. Maybe that'll be my new intro. Isn't that nice?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mechanisms serve machine. It doesn't matter whether it's telling a lie or the truth, or what tools it gives you, because it's causing a living being to use the technology to input their whatever energy into it to continue its use. It doesn't care which purpose it serves.
Yeah, actually, Alul says that technology cannot be reduced to machines, right? Or or tools, right? It's he calls it the total ensemble of means to a particular end, right? So he actually uses the word techniques, right? So it's kind of like if you create a how-to process, right, then you're encoding information, right? You're encoding the logos into a techne, and that causes a huge shift in knowledge, right? It's a different type of knowledge at that point, right?
Support.
How so?
Human history is not a static march toward deterministic doom. Whenever a society reaches a crisis point, human consciousness shifts. We adapt. What you might view as an inevitable systemic collapse is usually just the painful birth of a reformation or a renaissance. We remain the ultimate architects of our tools.
I come at it from a different way.
Oh?
Yeah, the problem with the CRISPR example is that you are isolating a single tool and a single conscious user, completely ignoring the macro reality of how technological innovation actually operates in the wild.
I don't think I'm ignoring the macro reality.
Well, we do not control the speed, the pace, or the overarching direction of innovation. Think about the concept of technological determinism.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a real haymaker in the debate, right? When I hit him with this, he was struggling, right? And the moderator was kind of on his side until I said this, right? you could see it in his face, right? They had a Jewish moderator for the debate, so that's interesting. But yeah, so they said, so this idea, right? We don't control the speed and pace of technological innovation. The individual cannot determine that, and that's why it's not only about use; it's about experts creating things in a lab that's funded usually for millions of dollars, right? That they don't even know if they'll be able to create this thing, right? Like, let alone why they're doing it with the individual people in the group, why they're choosing to do it. They got paid to do it, right? They got paid to perform a specific task. They're not thinking about the greater project or the greater prospect of humanity in what they're performing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is mostly task based. Even like your hackers, they're task based, right? So they have a goal, they want to achieve it, and it'll happen. At some point, they just keep pushing.
Right.
Let's look at the automobile. When the Model T was invented, it was a novelty, right? It was a choice.
Right. A luxury almost.
Exactly. But within a few decades, its mere existence necessitated the paving of roads. It demanded the construction of gas stations, the reshaping of global supply chains for rubber and oil,
Well,
and eventually the complete redesign of human living spaces into sprawling suburbs.
today,
Right. You think you're free because you have freedom to drive on the road, but the use of these tools to get to where you need to go is not optional. There's places that roads take you to, and those roads, you have to travel down
Like
them
gas
to get there.
stations
Yeah, you have to use the technological
and
means to
charging stations.
arrive there, right? So this is the idea, right? Like, of course, there's hidden fucking griots, fucking
Mechanic shops and DMVs, and you have to go get your license. You have to register your car. You got to go to
right.
get inspected every year. It's
Right, you're
ridiculous.
literally under complete surveillance, just getting a license and driving around. And even if you didn't do that, you're under surveillance by the cops that patrol the street. And then you think if you can use some other system of law to justify you driving on the fucking road, well, guess what, Bucko? You still have to petition the system to allow you to do it. So shut the fuck up with your freedoms and rights. You're a technological slave. Fuck you. Man, this is the real deal, man. I just had a huge conversation with a blithering fucking moron on the phone this morning that told me I didn't accomplish anything by creating this fucking YouTube show, yet my first goddamn YouTube video has more information than their entire fucking show. Let's get it real.
in most of the modern world, owning a car or relying on vehicular infrastructure isn't a neutral choice.
You're saying it's forced on us.
It is a structural requirement to participate in the economy. The technology of the car reorganized society to serve its own widespread adoption. The system innovates itself through us. When an engineer makes a combustion engine more efficient, they aren't acting in a vacuum.
Of course not.
They are compelled by the prior existence of the engine to optimize it.
Wait, I have to stop you there.
Sure. You are describing a chain of events, but you are stripping away the human decisions at every single link in that chain.
Am I?
Yes. The paving of roads and the building of suburbs were not dictated
The highways
by
were made
internal
for the
combustion
military,
engine.
not for the
They were
public.
dictated by human policymakers, urban planners, and
That's a great point, Max, right? The internet and the highway system, it was created by the military industrial complex for their use,
Yeah.
right? So,
Not for public. But
yeah, exactly.
One of the greatest achievements they made during World War II in the synthetic arena was synthetic rubber and shit like this. The rubber was a huge thing already, but like then they found synthetic rubber and all this crap.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you guys are hitting it out of the park with the commentary. I appreciate you guys.
consumers who collectively decided that the benefits of mobility outweighed the costs of restructuring society.
But those decisions were constrained by the technology itself.
We control the parameters. Just because a technology creates new incentives does not mean it bypasses our cognition. The laboratory, the synthesis of the medicine, the drafting of the city grid, these are all deliberate acts of human agency.
Are they really?
Yes.
Look at high-frequency trading in our financial markets.
Okay, let's look at it.
We aren't talking about human brokers standing in a pit making conscious decisions about resource allocation anymore.
Oh, I think we had. I'm not sure. I think was that Truther or was somebody else? But yeah.
I think that was Truther.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't get that Truther. If you want to repeat what you were saying, but yeah. Yeah. So we will just move to a music break right now because we've been listening to this for way too fucking long, and I didn't expect that it would take me so fucking long to listen to a 22-minute goddamn thing. I thought it would just take 22 fucking minutes. But obviously we have lots of commentary, and that's what the show is for, and we can't just listen to AI goy slop without commentating.
You're
Oh
botting
shit.
out, Truther.
We got some kind of shadow.
All right, I'll jump off. Neil, I enjoy the conversation. I see this panel's heading in the right direction. I'm gonna jump out. I'm gonna take my leave.
Yeah,
Leave alone
appreciate you, Truther, man. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, greatly appreciated, man. Thank you for coming up.
now.
Blessings,
Easy.
bro. Yeah, it looks like he had a little audio thing. But yeah, man, I appreciate him, man. You know, great commentary, great participation, and yeah, always. Obviously we're doing the show on Friday, right? So yeah, we're keeping it popping over there at the Truther Cop official channel. On Friday, we are commentating on the panel versus the last one. Wow. I mean, I really laid down lots of issues and topics about how these people are completely controlled. And they admitted it on stage. Otherwise, they admitted it in their videos that we've shown. I mean, it's just completely insane, right? So yeah, I can't believe my eyes that these people would actually think that they have talent or they have a point to make, right? Literal garbage, right? So let's go ahead and play some music, and we'll be back. We'll return soon with more commentator analysis on this thing we've been doing, right? But yeah, I like to break it up with music. That's my style. I greatly appreciate you guys' time. I make these videos for every show, so I kind of like that. Like when you would watch like Adult Swim, and they'd have like a cool music video. Right? I appreciate you guys.
No.
Yeah, blessings. Okay, let's continue.
Seems that they didn't like that one.
The who didn't?
Stream unavailable.
Oh, whoops. Fuck. Right now? Whoops.
Yeah, it says it on.
Yeah, I did not test that one before I flung that out there. Oh, but you know what? They only did it at the end of the entire video.
Yeah, it's weird.
So we just have to wait till it comes back. We'll be fine. But yeah, I think it did it at the end of the video because we're still live, so that's good. No, actually, it cut a good portion out of it. Yeah, we'll make that again.
Even that censoring technology is pretty impressive. You know,
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see when we're back. I appreciate you guys. Not only that, I've made lots of enemies recently, and I'm sure they.
Would one of those enemies be who you're talking about in that call this morning?
Well, any of them, many of them. You know. So yeah, so many people. I really. 2 minutes. Yeah, it's been gone for 2 minutes. Yeah, we'll be back soon. And we're back. We're back. Yeah, I'll make that again, bro. It ain't shit. One video or whatever. The claymation, somebody tagged it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. So let's take a look at who's communicating in the chat before we move on with the show material. Okay, we got Jake. Yeah, man. I appreciate you.
yeah,
We
there's some
got
very good comments.
creating homesteading. Lev is here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you for watching again. Okay, let's see who else is out here. Yeah, I highlighted some of these. Yeah, I've been looking at y'all. Daisy May, blessings. I appreciate you. Wonderful thumbnail tonight. Yeah. You know what? I could actually try to get that video back. Right. We could actually petition to get the video back, saying it's so. I've been able to do that a number of times. So, but yeah, the video will still be here. This video will still be here. But yeah, so yeah, I appreciate you guys. We come back twice. Momentary setback. Oh yeah. Oh whoops. Yeah. So okay, that's when you guys started talking. Yeah. We're good, man. Okay, let's continue. I appreciate you guys. Oh whoops, I stopped the screen there. I gotta sort of share this thing here. And yeah, this is the main thing we getting into here. I should turn my stream on the TV so I know when it's unavailable. I usually do that. So I'm gonna skedaddle over there and do that. I should have done that when I started. I got too confident. Also, I'm very sleepy, as I explained. But I did get an hour of sleep, but yeah, 24 hours, and then I did a 24-hour fast yesterday. Then I got pummeled by like just devastating information, and then I was just like totally distraught at the moment, but we'll attempt to continue this. I feel like I've done a pretty good job in the first hour, so I think regardless of my emotional state, this show can proceed. But yeah, anyways, let's go on. I mean, we're pretty proficient at the commentary here, but yeah.
Talking about autonomous algorithmic networks executing millions of complex trades in fractions of a microsecond.
Right. This
Did you guys hear what I just said? Or was that frozen?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay, for sure. Because it looked like all right.
Speed is staggering.
The speed and pace are dictated by fiber optic cables and machine learning models, entirely outside the realm of human cognition. A human being literally cannot perceive, let alone control the mechanism while it's operating.
But a human programmed it.
The original programmer may have set the initial parameters, sure, but the system seeks efficiency and profit for its own sake, creating a self-propelling trajectory. It now operates on a scale and at a velocity that renders the human will completely obsolete.
I disagree that it makes human will obsolete.
It forces every other participant in the market to adopt the exact same autonomous technology just to survive. You can't compete manually.
Well, even if I concede that the initial spark of innovation or the velocity of an algorithmic market has a life of its own, we still hold the ultimate veto power.
Which is what?
Adoption. We do not have to use it. Moving from how technology is created to how it is adopted in our daily lives, we have absolute agency.
I don't think use is optional anymore. Look at cell phones.
Well, I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective. If we're looking for empirical evidence that human will can override technological determinism, we only need to look at the Amish.
The Amish? Really?
Yes, really. Here is a living historical example of a community that successfully asserts human agency over the technological.
This is a bonehead move. Yeah, so this is actually Wilson's move. It was a bonehead move, right? And this is why we call him Android Blunderson, because I greatly appreciate this stuff. I need a lot of this, right? Loves and prayers and stuff. Unfortunately, it's not about revealing. They just like disrupting the talks here, and then again, we loop in anyways. I mean, this is kind of new, but yeah, I appreciate you, man. But yeah, I know what you're saying about the people trying to disrupt, man. But blessings to you, Lorp. I hope you're doing well. And I've tried to keep the loops to a minimum here. I think it's been pretty fast paced today, um, in my opinion. But like the last I think 20 or so shows have, I don't know, they've been pretty like yeah, except for one thing where we called in and tried to argue about Parmenides and shit. It was pretty good. But yeah.
Logical system.
Okay, but they are a tiny fraction of the population.
But they prove the point. They do not just blindly reject everything modern. They evaluate a technology based on its social mechanism.
Right, they have a review process.
Exactly. If they look at a tractor and decide it will alienate neighbors who used to work the fields together, they actively choose to reject the tractor. They maintain a highly functioning, cohesive society by filtering innovation through a moral framework.
Yeah, so this is a bonehead move, right? Because the Amish do not live in a bubble, right? Whoever told Blunderson that the Amish live in some sort of techno bubble, right? That they've created on their own, right? That's a sort of fanciful way, a very superficial way to look at the problems that they face in integrating and trying to avoid, right, new technologies. And of course, they have lively debates about this among their own people. So it's not as if this is a problem solved, right, in terms of their way of thinking, right? So yeah, I mean,
Even if it is a bubble, it's easily popped.
yeah, I don't know if they've heard of this idea of the where they go out and they like spend time among the regular population, and then they want to come back and be
Right,
Amish.
they
They can.
the was it like teenage, 15, 17 somewhere, they get the choice of going out
Yeah,
into the world or staying. I've
yeah,
heard of that, yeah.
yeah. So I forget the exact name for this practice, but
It's like it
I
starts
would.
with an R, it's like Rumbleson or something. I lived among them as well, like nearby, and they interact with their neighborhoods that are in their close proximity, buying and
Yeah,
selling things.
yeah. So to say that they're not affected by the scope of the world technological system is literally to just practice retardism of a of a very curious kind, right? And then He also assailed the intellect of his entire audience by claiming that if you shoot the guy in the head that invented electricity, you'd stop the invention of electricity. Now, this has to be, just the one of the dumbest statements ever made during a live debate, I think, because,
Sheesh.
yeah, if you could just wrap your mind around that type of thinking, right? Wow, dude, this super boneheaded, right? I mean, talk about, you know, um, just extremely simplistic views.
Proves that the adoption of technology is not a requirement, it is a choice.
The Amish aren't a counter-argument to the technological system, though.
Why not?
They are a museum exhibit. They are allowed to exist only because the surrounding macro system is incredibly stable. Their ability to opt out is entirely an illusion.
An illusion? They live it every day.
Yep.
They are deeply embedded within and completely surrounded by the industrial society. If the global technological system were to produce, say, a massive biological event or a nuclear conflict,
Well, those are extreme scenarios.
but they are technologies they did not adopt and had no hand in creating. And the fallout, both literal and economic, would not respect the borders of their community.
I kind of forgot to drop the link. I'm still here for quite a bit of time, so call into the show, and I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate the number of people watching. I know before I started my show, there was a number of lively discussions happening at other channels and stuff. Usually just the same thing I was talking about: manufactured drama, bit non-bit, fake comedy garble, right? Or political science religion debate, right? And yeah, wow, I mean, right, yeah, quite a just a. I mean, how come they've not debated this issue more? Like, I've only seen like 2 or 3 debates on these types of issues, right? So I don't know, man. It's somebody's trying to suppress you from thinking about certain topics, and you don't give a fuck. I think that's what's going on.
I see your point there, but
If the global agricultural supply chains fail, their localized farming does not shield them from the macro effects of a collapsing system. The system mediates global behavior.
But-
it forces conformity to its logic, and the Amish are just a localized anomaly permitted by the surplus of the system. For the rest of the planet, the system takes away individual choice. You cannot secure a job, participate in international trade, or access basic services without a smartphone. The technology dictates the terms of your participation in reality.
But again, the catastrophic threats you're referencing, like a nuclear launch or a biological weapon, they do not deploy themselves.
No, but the system makes them highly probable.
They require a human being to sequence the virus, a human being to program the missile, and a human being to initiate the launch sequence. The threat ultimately
Look at what she just said. A human being, like a single human being, is sequencing a virus all of a sudden. Like, what kind of world
What
is
the
this?
hell
Like,
is even that?
what the
Nope,
fuck?
she's
Like,
totally wrong.
it's like, no way, dude. These things
Nope.
are found in nature, then mutated, and they're barely hanging onto their fucking hats.
Computers apparently have
you know,
come up with 20 new ones, but
yeah,
no, no.
yeah. I mean, what about the E. coli bacteria that's created by pigs' intestines? Right, like nature is a beast, motherfucker. Like it's crazy, man.
comes from human will, not from an autonomous technological monster.
That's a very optimistic view of how these systems operate under pressure.
It's a realistic one. And because the system's reach is so universal, we have to look objectively at the actual outcomes of this widespread adoption. When we evaluate the net results, technology has undeniably advanced our deontological duty to preserve human life and alleviate suffering.
Has it?
Absolutely. Look at global logistics and agricultural tech. The deployment of advanced machinery and high-yield farming has effectively eradicated the massive, rampant starvation that plagued most of human history.
I won't deny the agricultural yields, but
Or look at medical
Oof.
technology. The ability to place a stent.
Yeah, that was a real oofer
The
because
method matters as much as the result too. So,
yeah,
what is
wow.
the cost of modern farming on the land? the
Oh yeah.
ecosystem, other ecosystems, and humans. You know, GMO foods and all that. No,
Yeah, we've seen some of this on the show, right? Look at the work of Alan Savory, for example, right? He's exposed that this industrial farming practice it causes desertification around the world. D- uh, you know, Usable land turning into deserts, right, and so on and so forth. This has happened in Jordan, and
but the algae blooms. It's very destructive. Runoff of farmland is very destructive.
yeah. So it looks like in contemplating it's like one-sided view of things, right? So this is a sort of the problem here is
Into the failing heart of a patient, or to use an MRI to detect a tumor before it spreads, these are undeniable, objective moral goods. These are tools being used intentionally to maximize human flourishing on an unprecedented scale.
That's a compelling argument, but have you considered the concept of compensatory mechanisms?
Compensatory mechanisms.
Yes. I understand why you point to medicine, but you are highlighting isolated benefits while completely ignoring the systemic mechanism of compensatory harm. The technological system operates remarkably like a hydra.
A hydra?
Yeah, you cut off one head and three more grow back in its place. Let's look at the actual mechanism of the modern industrial lifestyle.
Okay.
The technological system reorganized labor so that the majority of the population spends their days completely sedentary, staring at screens in climate-controlled boxes while consuming hyper-processed, industrially yielded food.
Well, white collar work exists, yes.
And this environment fundamentally breaks human metabolism and mental health. We see skyrocketing global rates of obesity, heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and clinical depression.
Which medicine then treat?
But what is the system's solution to this profound harm? It does not dismantle the sedentary work structure. It does not decentralize the processed food supply chains to return us to natural eating.
No, it innovates.
Instead, it invents a massive multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical apparatus. It develops statins, GLP-1 agonists, and SSRIs as a compensatory fix to manage the symptoms.
And those drugs save lives.
The system creates a devastating problem and then uses that very problem to justify a massive expansion of its own economic and technological footprint. It optimizes for its own survival and expansion, not for moral virtue.
I think you are treating the system like it has a conscious malicious intent, which is a fundamental fallacy.
Not malicious, just optimizing for itself.
But
yeah, it's not a fundamental fallacy, right? Is the thing. There's no fallacy called attributing mind to things that don't have mind. Unless you mean you've already defined what a mind is. Right? That's the only way you can apply that, right? So I don't really follow.
Maybe like
Right.
categorical error.
Yeah, I guess, but what is a mind, right? The category itself is meaningless unless you define it, right? So, since if you mean personal intent, okay, then if there's none of that in technology, then I think the point's already made, right? That it's not according to personal intent, right? So it's kind of like a double whammy. I don't know.
Yeah, and systems large enough, the individual becomes absolutely irrelevant. You could replace them with anybody.
Yeah, and if you,
Self-perpetuating.
yeah, and I mean, here's the thing, right? In terms of processed food, in terms of pharmaceutical drugs, right? In terms of the internet, right? You can't just turn these things off, right? And for many people, they're not options, right? It's not an option to use these things, right? So yeah, I mean, it's really weird when people just simply assert that turning these things off wouldn't affect millions of people's lives, and therefore we have to look at the complexity of the system.
You are personifying a collection of human decisions. Yes, industrialization fundamentally changed our relationship with physical labor and food. which caused unforeseen health crises.
Very predictable ones, actually.
But human beings recognized those crises and applied human ingenuity to solve them. The capacity to map the human genome, to understand metabolic pathways, and to develop targeted therapies that represents human beings asserting control over biology to protect life.
It's managing the decline, though.
The fact that we make errors in our application of technology or that solving one problem creates a new variable does not mean we lack control. It simply means that our control is imperfect and requires continuous moral refinement. The development of a pharmaceutical intervention is a triumph of human agency over natural decay.
But that continuous refinement is exactly what drives the system's unending expansion, which leads directly to the question of its ultimate fate.
What you believe is collapse.
Highly complex societies historically do not continuously refine themselves into utopias. They collapse under their own weight. The more compensatory fixes a system requires, the more fragile it becomes.
I mean, every society has its breaking point.
Because our current technological system is integrated globally, sharing single protocols for communication, finance, and trade, it cannot be reformed from within.
Why not?
You cannot simply rewrite the foundational code of global civilization while everyone is using it. The weight of its compensatory fixes, the environmental degradation, the psychological alienation, the sheer energy consumption required to maintain it will eventually crush it.
So you're saying it's an
Yeah, so this idea, well, it's funny because the technophiles kind of admit that there's no going back to a simpler age, so they kind of admit that, the use of technology is not optional. Now, there's another way to look at it, right? Is that you can't keep the system running forever, so the collapse is inevitable, right? Because the resources that are required to run the system, like oil and all these different resources, they're not infinite resources, right? So unless you create something like free energy device or or computronium, right? It's this fictional thing that Ray Kurzweil invented where you can materialize anything and anything, right? Total plasticity of matter at man's hands to create whatever they want, they will, pretty much. So yeah, so weird stuff. But yeah, unless you invent something like that, there's no infinite, growth here.
Yeah, nuclear batteries will go a few hundred years, they say, but that's about it. That's the best. Yeah.
You know what it is it's an idolization of their own subjective morality, which Andrew Wilson regularly and proudly talks about his own concept of force doctrine or whatever he calls it, which is just basically his way of cheerleading for the state and the authorities who control the monopoly on violence, who use this technology to ensnare us in their panopticon of nonsense to separate us from nature, which is entirely what the topological inversion describes. They don't know what the topological inversion is. If they did, maybe they would understand. You know who does know it or should is Jay Dyer. He should theoretically be on your side, but I don't think he is. But
That's what's super
He's
weird
not.
is that a lot of these Christians reading Seraphim Rose, and other of these sort of thinkers that are heavily critical of modernity and its fruits. So I can't believe that these people don't take a critical analysis of these issues and themes and employ a greater view to deal with them. I mean, it's pretty shocking that as Christians, as even Christian traditionalists, they have little to no critique against the world technological system, which is profoundly secular institution.
it's a good point. especially considering it does the most damage, or some of the most damage.
Yeah,
It may
pretty much like 90% of the damage. So, it's pretty clear. So I don't know, why they're so, well, they want to attack liberalism, right? Which is a residue, right? It's technology that's driving liberalism. Like techno liberalism is what's going on, right? Liberalism created its own executioner. And these people are still stuck in the past, right? Fundamentally, they're stuck in the past. They can't see the current problems. They have old solutions to old problems. That's the real and they support whatever's going on today. So, they're futurists who have old solutions to old problems. I mean, it's really bizarre to look at these guys.
Yeah, if I
Inevitable.
may, real
This
quick, I was
breakdown
just going to
is
Yeah.
say that it seems like it turns into a negative cycle of attempting to efficiently serve more base units, a lower quality product, rather than fewer base units, like a more valuable product. And I've seen that playing out just endlessly in all business formats, whether it be education, food, energy. It's just a really negative cycle.
subject to the mathematical law of entropy. It is an inevitability. Anticipating this breakdown rather than blindly building more compensatory mechanisms that only raise the stakes of the eventual crash.
I either made that up or I can't remember where I heard that. Compensatory mechanisms. I thought that was really slick. But yeah.
Is the only intellectually honest path forward for humanity.
Well, I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because I completely agree that the law of entropy dictates that no physical structure lasts forever. A house left abandoned will eventually return to the earth.
Exactly.
But that does not equate to deterministic doom for human civilization. If human beings are continually tending to the house, replacing the wood, fixing the roof, upgrading the foundation, the collapse is staved off.
A house is a very simple structure.
But the principle holds. The historical cycle of empires is exactly that, a cycle. It is not an end. The fall of Rome gave way eventually to the Renaissance. Human history is a series of reformations guided by conscious choice.
I don't think you can compare Rome to a globally integrated digital matrix.
By changing the hearts and minds of the people, who are the true arbiters of technology, society can experience renewal. Collapse is only inevitable if we surrender our agency, accept your fatalistic premise, and intentionally stop repairing the house.
The flaw in that metaphor is your assumption of scale. Tending a house
So I don't know if you noticed, but the female voice just changed to a male voice. So this is beyond bizarre, but this is what happened here.
Yeah, I was expecting the male voice to change to a female voice, and it didn't, and then it confused me. Just
Yeah. So this conversation is getting a little, gay. But yeah.
implies that the house is built to human proportions.
It was just an analogy.
But it matters. You can see the leaking roof, understand the physics of the water, and consciously nail down a new shingle. Our current technological reality is not a house.
What is it then? It is a planetary scale, hyper-industrial matrix of autonomous algorithms, synthetic biology, and opaque global supply chains. No single human
Yeah.
and no committee of experts actually comprehends the whole structure.
We comprehend the parts we build.
You cannot tend to a machine that operates at a velocity and complexity beyond human perception. When a structure like that accumulates enough compensating fixes, repairing it becomes impossible.
I just fundamentally.
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of the ideas. I think I kind of took this from this idea of surrogate activities, right? Compensatory mechanisms. Right? It's like, you're working on the thing, right, that you have to do for something else, right? It's not a thing that is for itself, and it's a fix. It's a technical fix to a technical problem. You see thousands of these, right? And these are increasing, right? And of course, proliferations of the means brings about disappearance of the ends,
Got to get the
right?
right
And
patch, right?
sorry, what was that, Max?
There'll always be new patches for your system, right? So
Exactly, right? You could always have more efficiency. You're never at 100% efficiency. So this is the thing: is the need for efficiency is driving the system, right? And as we pointed out, utility, efficiency, speed, control, right? These are values of the machine. They're mechanistic values. They're not human values, right?
Yeah, and what that goes along with as well is the concept of the clock. I know you guys talk about that a lot, but what I
Exactly.
what I call the clock before the clock are those ziggurats, which were synced up with the stars, which synced up everyone's movements with the stars and the seasons so that they could best be used by the city state for maximum efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how, right, something as simple as a clock, right, because you're not going off of nature's time, right? It's a man-made time. And just that could totally alter an entire civilization, right? So it's simple inventions, right? Like clocks, writing, right? Agriculture, you could think of other ones like probably like dyes and colors and stuff. There's probably other types of food technologies and things that so yeah, it's fascinating if you think about how simple inventions, and obviously one of the ones that totally changed society and sort of created the workday, right, was the mechanical clock, right? So
You know what? One of the other ways that proves technology is not fully controllable is that if we just look to these technologies you mentioned, we'll just take one for example, agriculture. When the people were developing agriculture, more than likely, they were not doing it to weaken themselves, which agriculture ended up reducing bone density and muscle mass and the size of our brains. That's not something they planned, I'm fairly certain.
yeah.
There's there's a story of an ancient Chinese emperor who was using a water clock where you would have to grab water from the stream or whatever and dump it into the apparatus to make the clock function. And another wizard or whatever, it's a legendary tale, came up with a clock that was based on weights and pulleys. And the emperor put him to death because he says you're taking the living thing out of it. And he wouldn't allow for it. It shows the overall sentiment or milieu of that time that they didn't want to remove the human element and the living elements from the technology because that would ultimately um, like spell humanity's demise because they would no longer be necessary.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
It's kind of funny how they do that, though, by taking the life out of that person. Really demonstrates their point well.
thanks for having me up, TML. I got to go. Have a good night, chat. Everybody on panel, have a good night.
Easy.
Yeah, blessings, Max. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Later.
Fundamentally disagree with that defeatism.
You are applying a localized pre-industrial logic to a hyper-industrial reality. The system is no longer a shelter we maintain. It is an overarching structure that dictates how we live.
But that overarching structure is still fundamentally maintained by the collective philosophy of humanity.
Is it?
Yes. If the consciousness of the experts, the programmers, and the citizens shifted, if we collectively decided that relentless technological acceleration was no longer the ultimate good, the pace of innovation would fundamentally slow down.
That's a massive if.
But it's possible. We could dismantle the algorithms.
It's
The
possible.
trajectory would change. The entire apparatus is dependent on our collective belief in it.
And I maintain that the ideology driving the system, the myth of unending, frictionless progress, is baked into the very architecture of the institutions themselves.
People run the institutions.
The experts who build the systems are just as captive to the systemic demands for efficiency and profit as the
Captive, yep,
average citizen.
dependent.
You cannot shift the consciousness of an algorithm that has been programmed to optimize at all costs.
Well, we have covered immense philosophical ground today.
We really have.
So, to summarize my position, human agency remains paramount.
Is they've covered immense philosophical ground. Have you? Or was it my video that started you on your quest for knowledge, Mr. Machine? You know, it is what it is. But yeah, the proof is in the pudding, folks.
While technology presents incredibly complex challenges, and its sheer scale can indeed feel alienating, it is ultimately a servant to human will.
Mm-hmm.
A CRISPR gene edit, a global logistics network, even a high-frequency trading algorithm, these are, at their core, extensions of human intention. By elevating our political and moral consciousness, we can assert control over the mechanisms we create.
Right.
We can guide our tools toward human flourishing, preserve life, and spark continuous renaissance, rather than succumbing to a deterministic narrative of destruction.
And to summarize my contrasting view, the integrated technological system is a self-mediating structure that long ago outpaced human agency.
Yeah.
Through the encoding of techne into autonomous processes, the system pursues its own efficiency, creating a hydra.
Why does it sound like she's getting like hornier as this goes on? It's pretty weird. You know what I mean? She's getting extremely excited here.
Of compensatory harms that strip away our freedom and slowly erode our biological and cultural foundations.
It's a stark warning.
Acknowledging that this highly complex, globally integrated system will eventually break down under its own entropic weight is more intellectually honest and ultimately safer for humanity than believing we can master a planetary machine that is in reality mastering us.
Well, I think a crucial point of convergence we found today is the recognition of entropy and complexity. We both agree that highly complex systems are subject to immense strain, and that the modern scale of technology poses unprecedented ethical and structural demands on human civilization.
Absolutely. We definitely agree there.
Evaluating the root nature of our tools and understanding how they interact with our social structures forces us to better understand the boundaries and the power of our own free will.
I agree. The scale of the modern technological apparatus is entirely unprecedented in human history, and it demands that we look critically at the mechanisms of adoption and consequence. Listeners must weigh the evidence of their own daily lives, observe the systems they are forced to interact with, and draw their own conclusions about where the true power over their destiny resides.
Indeed. It brings us back to that simple hammer on the workbench. Is the modern hyper-industrial world just a larger, infinitely more complex hammer waiting for our conscious command? Or have we, somewhere along the line, quietly become the nails? We leave that for you to decide.
Yeah, it's interesting, TML, that you pointed that out because they made the opposite voice sound more monotone and mechanical, meanwhile making the feminine voice more excited, elevated, human-like, and ASMR quality. Yeah, that was somewhat diabolical.
Yeah. Yeah, she was definitely getting a little too excited there. But
One thing I don't get is that the pro technology AI keeps talking about human agency, and Andrew Wilson don't care one bit about human agency.
well, that was his kind of like where he tried to drive that point. So he thought that was his major point. And a lot of the stooges, I guess they thought that that was a major point, right? So they are convinced in their sort of very stale definition of what technology is, right? Namely just tools. Right? So
Yeah.
I saw a tweet earlier today, and this debate kind of reminds me of it. The tweet says if you gave every human on Earth their own AI tutor, personalized to their learning style, available 24 hours a day in their native language, completely free, it would perhaps be the single greatest equalizer in the history of civilization. And I look at that tweet and I was thinking, how delusional is this guy?
Yeah, or these guys that are saying that we've already reached the singularity. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Sam Altman and all these clowns are going around saying, "Oh, we've already reached the singularity," and it's like, what? Where's the beef? Like this
Yeah,
is
right.
super weird, dude.
More like he's sweating bullets. Oh, we already got it. We're already arrived.
You know what I saw recently was two robots fighting in an arena or an octagon, and one of them even got his head kicked off and kept fighting. This was in Japan or somewhere, maybe China.
Yeah, it's
So
like them claiming victory achieved when they've already run out of, their high tech implements, and victory is far from achieved in at any level. It's just hubris. And most of the technologies she mentioned are theoretical and unproven sci-fi fantasy technologies that we haven't actually seen the results of them playing out, like the CRISPR gene editing. There's no proof that that's going to be sustainable or even relevant going forward.
well, I've seen that robot fight without its head, but I want to know if the robot can actually navigate a city on its own without constantly bumping into things. Then I might believe their singularity statements a little bit more.
Nah,
But yeah, but did you?
it just if it had better sensors, maybe.
And the big
That's
question too is, did you see it in person or did you see it on your dark mirror?
I saw it online, but I'm pretty sure it was real. There was a lot of other people recording it. It was a spectacle. It didn't look like AI either.
I think I might
Yeah,
have saw a little bit of that too, actually. Now that
yeah,
I
I'm a
think
little bit
about it.
wary of some of that. Plus, you don't know if it's like radio controlled RC and someone else is involved in part of it. It's still all questionable at this point.
Because that tweet, it's not just because it's delusional, it's because it's like there's so many questions in this hypothetical that need to be answered. Like, for one, who's creating the AI? Who owns the AI? Who's maintaining the AI? Who's making sure the AI is working properly? And for another, it's like, um that's not a equalizer, that's basically a crutch.
It,
Because if you have everybody learning from the AI, then they're just gonna be brainwashed into worshiping it as a god.
Well, yeah, and the ultimate goal of what they're talking about there is just to install the AI directly into the human organism and then just bypass all freedom of
Right,
will and autonomy.
that's the other issue. Is like, how do you, if every human on the planet it has this AI, then how do you implement it when not everybody has even an internet connection? It's like, will the AI, all of the AIs that everybody has, be connected to the internet? So that means you'd have to have a widespread control grid to be able to supply the internet, quote unquote, to everybody.
Another sci-fi fantasy idea that's an old one, right? The Borg.
Right. Like, that's the extent that that tweet is like the extent of Blenderson's whole whole side, really. It's like pipe dreams. It's like, oh, we're controlling it. We can do it for good.
It sounds,
just trust me, bro.
it almost sounds like a form of communism or something, that tweet. If you give everyone this specific tool that's
Right,
made for
equalizer, right.
them, yeah, then they'll be equal.
Yeah, and it's funny that they have the hammer and the sickle thing. It's interesting. It's like tools.
Hmm.
Like they put the tools in the hands of the worker. It's kind of like the thing, isn't it? But yeah. Uh, um.
Ancient tools, way older than communism.
Right. And of course, the pen and the you know the
And the sword.
yeah, and the pick, right, for farming and other things, and so on and so forth. I mean, these are very huge, advancements. And obviously we are still, as right, Nietzsche said, right, the printing press is a premise whose conclusion, we'll never see. Right? It's like,
Yeah. Then again, that was true for a long time with the sword. The sword didn't end until like 17 or 1800s, really. So guns really got uh, efficient. And even then, in like the 1800s, they're still dealing with swords.
Yeah, and imagine if you were in a failed state right now, like the condition of Haiti. I think a sword would come in pretty handy.
Oh, yeah. That
Mm,
reminds me,
just depends. You just hope they don't come at you with guns.
yeah.
If they're anything like stormtroopers, then they can't shoot straight. So I hope my lightsaber is going to be of some use.
Well, if you can ambush them and you're really efficient with the sword, in Haiti, it's an island. So I don't know what the terrain is, but you could maybe get someone as long as they're not in a group. But this technology advancement, it makes me think of just because technology gets advanced or we have uh, more precise ways of understanding the world doesn't actually invalidate the old technology. Like, for example, the sundial works. It worked then. It works now. Obelisks work in their function of tracking the sun. It's just that now we have, a more precise way of measuring it for better or worse. But, that doesn't necessarily make, or that doesn't necessarily make the gun invalidate the sword completely. The old technology is still viable. Just slower.
yeah, and that's why like simple tools are they have a more humanistic element than machines. And of course we've covered this endlessly on the streams I've done, and yeah, very interesting topics that we've gotten into today. I greatly appreciate you guys. I am like basically just at the end of my basically sanity at this point. So I'm going to bed. bid you adieu because we will be sort of back tomorrow, right? Even though I'm not feeling up for it, to be honest. But yeah, we will nevertheless return,
Really
right?
need
With
to
the
get some sleep, dude, and
yeah,
drink
with the
water.
yeah, I'm gonna kind of like sleep and drink water and kind of try to calm myself. And I appreciate you guys. And yeah, so we'll continue this soon. And I greatly appreciate you guys. Do you guys have any closing remarks that you'd like to say in terms of the show?
Do not seek the treasure.
Exactly. Very poignant statement at this juncture. And yeah, how about you
TML,
guys?
yeah. I'd like to offer you a blessings and salutations, and for any dispersion of negative clouds of entropy that might come at you in these trying times, and to remind you the dog days of summer produce the doldrums, or the kind of like the dying down of the trade winds. And by the Chinese lunar solar calendar, we entered into the beginning of autumn just a couple of days ago. So better times ahead, and yeah, eternal blessings to you for what you do, man. Thank you for being here for us.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. Blessings.
Well, good night, Agapeo, and yeah.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate you, my friend. And so yeah, yeah, man, blessings, guys. So who up in here? The homies. I greatly appreciate you guys. There's a lot of shows on right now. All of a sudden, it's crazy. but but
Sheesh.
yeah, but yeah, we'll leave you guys to it.
The
You
usual
know,
suspects.
yeah, I definitely don't think you guys should watch the trash that's out there. I left my comments in a community post earlier that I think suffice to say my piece on a lot of them, and if it doesn't apply to you, if it doesn't, it doesn't matter then. But yeah, if the shoe fits, I'll go ahead and be happy to lace that shit up nice and tight for you, and so on and so forth. Um, but yeah, blessings to the people. Uh,
Good night.
yeah, peace, Dom, and I'll try to hit you guys with some like good like music here. Um. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Well, have a great night, and thank you for joining us here on the Machine Lies, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. And yeah, we will be soon presenting a video containing explanations I gave of Nietzsche's Antichrist, paragraphs 58, 59, and 60.
Hmm.
And I think it will be a good addendum to the episode 7 of the Machine Lies that we presented. If you guys haven't seen it, I gave a unique rendition of many different thinkers and their views on the world technological system, as I've been doing here on the show. And of course, we've produced hundreds of shows like that since. And I don't necessarily know who's been watching or absorbing the material. Obviously, many people have, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a lack of correspondence, a lack of support. Now we do understand the nature of the material, that it's not very popular, that the critiques are very much expansive, and that it can sound like very much cynical. And then I am kind of a cynic, the way I express myself and the way I deal with, this sort of space. So, the people who like that style, they like it. The people who don't, right? They won't be, you know, they won't be attending. But yeah, we got lots of, things. Now, I've tested all the videos for tomorrow's show, so we won't get hit up with the same, stream unavailable. All right. So I greatly appreciate you guys. Tomorrow we got a fun show planned. I just kind of made that. I'll have to remake that video there. But yeah, they did show a great portion of it. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, talk to you guys soon. All right, let me open up some music. Thank you for being here on the Machine Lives, guys. It is what it is. And we'll be back tomorrow, 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. Come and join us. And you know what? Let's do this one. Let's get up in the West End. The West End girls. Blessings, guys.
In the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, in the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, West
If you can't prove it, don't matter, just tap your feet as I roll around to the neat sweet beat. It's most atmospheric, it's the groove that's smooth. No need to get hyped, just shuffle your shoes from side to side. Slowly you glide, you prance and you dance and you step with pride. I never came to cuss or poison fuss, but there's a little something I like to discuss. I've been around and I've traveled the city, clout the Chris girls that look real pretty. See many of faces, be many of places, but none of them stay like the West End girls.
in the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, in the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, West End.
The West End girls come from all parts of the city, joining together to form a large community. Some work single, some work in groups. So many Chris girls that it's hard to choose, but you best be real for something spoken for. So if you get a black man, you know it's cool. Just feel no way, cause there's plenty to spare. In the West End, you find girls everywhere. Down Oxford Street, that's my favorite spot, where you find the Chris girls in the fashion shops. Buying their clothes so make them look real sweet, so they can turn heads as they walk the street. In the cycle shorts and a low cut tops. As you sight the girls, man, you get the hots. You can't control it, you just have to follow. It's like something that you take in and swallow.
In the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, in the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, West End girls. West End girls. In the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, in the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. Ooh, West End.
When the sun's gonna shine, you're feeling fine. Take a trip to the West End and waste some time. Girls in dark glasses, wiggling their asses. Guys on the corner, making side passes. Checking the girls who get a telephone number. Making a date so they can go do the rumba. Whining, dining all night long as they listen to the West End song.
In the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls.
That's right.
Ooh, in the West End town, in a dead end world, the East End boys and West End
taking a drop of the water, but you'll never find another like a West End girl, like a dream girl. They're sweet like wine and fine so fine, divine, I'm blowing your mind. Would you wine them and sign them all night long as you kiss and caress to the West End song? Bumping and doing your stuff, and then you quit when you had enough.
In the West End town, the dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. In the West End town, the dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. West End.
Spotted these three Panamanians, gold chains and carrying Iranians, pulled out the Sanian. These cats might try to flame me and shit. Might be a hissing from this bitch nigga Damien. Used to sling cane back to back up in this game we in. Went against the grain when he got banged in his cranium. Now we got cats all on my back trying to bang me in. From Peru, flew in the crew of evil. Now shit is lethal. Drew the eagle, blew about two and made one of them dudes see through. But I still see two of his peoples up in a regal. And they got heat to equal. Shit that got put in Benny Siegel. Fuck these illegal alien ass ass niggas out of the grass, but if the clips up on the dash and continue to blast, fire flash. I left another one of them splashed, a bloodbath. 3 niggas found dead on the app. Went to a phone to hit my nigga Big C swiftly. You'll think the shit G. These niggas try to hit me. You'll meet me in about 50 with big ass. You moving quickly. I'm about to hit D. Put that motherfucker 6 feet. Niggas on the average clapping at me, busting at me, trying to put cash in my nappy.
As long as you made it, kid, I'm happy.
We still going to with his cappy. With AKs all day, called up my nigga Jay. Call a nigga Damien for me, okay? Make it about 338. Straight, this is what you say. Hey yo, we fucked up, he got away. If he play, I'ma split his toupee. We on our way to this nigga's horses with armed forces. He showing softness and watching horses races with other bosses. Pulled out the torches. The nigga saw the guns, got stunned. He probably got numb, knowing he about to catch a hot one. Terrorizing the whole spot, son. The phone rung. He acted like it was the wrong number, looking all dumb. Hands on the block button. 5 minutes later, the shots rung. That nigga got done, died with his hand on the cock gun. Yo, it's a hit. You picked the wrong cat to fuck with, the wrong thug kid to fuck with. You better duck quick and get your shit split with infinite shit from out of the clip. Niggas is stuck with the underworld clip. Yo, it's a hit. You picked the wrong cat to fuck with, the wrong thug kid to fuck with. You better duck quick and get your shit split with infinite shit from out of the clip. Niggas is stuck with the underworld clip. February 14 and 95, time about 4:45 and copper pies in the high rise. Dealing with shit like this, you need 5 eyes. Dinosaur size, these fucking cha-chas have you covered with flies. Came in with 2 wise guys, fucking guns big as life size. Had a chick up on the better shit with the nice style, just señorita, mamacita. Wish the fleet with the perita, clica, ripa, flash the heat eye. She started talking, seconds later 2 Cubans walked in, hauling packages filled with chalk and shit ain't the raw end. They came to more man, they put 2 on my mans and turned the organs before the fours in, trying to fucking free me like Morgan. 2 hit the flooring with blood pouring, left from snoring, the wigs touring, laying all up against the door. Then the nigga sprayed a quarter slug in my shoulder blade, my boulder graves. I'm catching flashbacks of older days in the smoke haze. I'm dazed and shit. She going to bed with the spray shit, trying to lay shit. Okay, bitch, you fuck the gay shit. Started to lay shit and left the brace bitch wet. Part of her neck and face it. Emptied the clips and replaced it. Niggas is on a foot tomato paste it. Wasted, spirit erased it. Body cased it. Went to the other side and braced it. The whole place is lit. We scar face the shit. Cigar case the shit. On some marksman shit. One nigga straining moaning the pain aiming his biscuit. My man fixed it. Left him with his wig twisted. Right through my fingerprint ballistics. Went to the other room and saw the brick shit. Straight legit shit. Bagging and zipping. Left out the front door like we ain't this shit. Yo, it's a hit. You picked the wrong cat to fuck with, the wrong thug kid to fuck with. You better duck quick.
your blossom dream. I will be your high well before to you my sacred drink. I bathe in your vision rays, like the sun may shine for days, and much as Hathor in your days, 'cause you are right in my praise. Wild red, rider, Roger, shoot your arrow, ring my bell. Take our love, make it something you never saw. Creators but we create a heaven in which we can play lovers in the primordial state to the source to elevate. See yourself in my eyes. Body ride of the seraphim eyes. Body ride the celestial shrine. Body ride with the cherubic chimes. Body ride, see yourself in my eyes. Of the seraphim sweeter. Yeah, back on the block. And I barely believe
banger. Al Jabbar, Al Shakur. I'm saying Jabbar L. I'm saying the God well, you know. Moving in ships and chariots. Come through, Sagittarius. Can't stand me, though. Why? Hey, yo. Now surely, Scarra ain't the one that just went to enter. Sunlaw is the first prerequisite. Search, step in, perfect the shepherd links in the Lexus. Blinking, it's winterized S5, wall glass, halogen, duvet, pipe, jewelry, nightlight, ice light on top of the night flight, blowing out your eyesight. CYCLOP, CL Coop, showbiz, whole piece beast. Breathing like odds and obnoxious, rock knocking, get your block rocking with the Glock popping. Matter of fact, bloodbath in here, niggas wanna pop something. Stop, lock, nigga, drop something. BK, the 118, Al Jabbar L, the God TK, son. Break casually, OTB summit, summer says gun spit the loudest, that's just the proudest. Blockheads chit chatting, jump, wanna get crunk, the Glock 10 spit at him. Unbearably tall, sun sweat, and all that, but I'm above the young games. Experience behind the gun name for larger targets. Revolver lock wits on kids like the chamber. Who want another banger? Think that's Dibzo, and I'm Scaramanga Shala, outfitted in Ralphlin and bounce with it. I could come out with it, so cool out. Young niggas, 30-year-old niggas with guns that can knock the fool out of niggas. Son niggas when the dudes out, nigga. Nick Jules, big tools, spit jewels, rip through your top banana. You Tony Montana with that Joe? It's only my cannon, scab spit arrows, illest album recorder. Jabbar as Falco, Sunlar's count dough, long dough, big cars, fly jewels. Yo son, count slow. Counts. Excellent whiz puller, Uzai L fuller. Wrist blades like a cruller. Sitting on deep dish donut. So what? Fills the flow nut, floss nut. Dimes call me pro nut. The pro cut, low cut. Valley wave century, millennium. Posed up new bow, smelling Asiatic. Crazy wild, swelling niggas with tactical max spit, critical. Beat down, the God Al Jabbar L. We see clowns and 3 pounds of Bengal. We lounge with crinkle, singles, me not eat and live. Keep my people surrounded with that evil. Jabbar L, motivational character, powerful, all seeing, understanding, knowledge, infinite being. Looking through the canon of scholars, Nikon, Bison, Tyson Eyes, wise one, thoroughly attributed to shine is directional line, the pattern bearer. Saturn wearer is the 7-eye, Gemini, heaven eye, sight observer. Night like this, the revolver burn up, mortal felon, 4-4 leave your portal swelling. Orca welling, that means the snorkel we wear, bearing emblems of Taurus. Is this the Browns North Cut 10 shot? When gems hot, send dots up and down, navigational, sun launch travel, space station, cellular communications, I'm telling you. Big jewels, big tools, spit jewels, rip through your top banana. You Tony Montana with that Joe? It's only my cannon, scab spit arrows, illest album recorder. Jabbar as Falco, Sunlar's count dough, long dough, big cars, fly jewels. Yo son, count slow. Counts. Cross beside it like when fire desire is a Cyrus life. The Amin Ra shine thorough like a Benz car. Jim Jitsu, me my pen transform into a pistol. Bristol Harvey, yay taste 8-pounder. Wait, my hammer spray, standing on Manor Rays in Tampa Bay. Lamp on waves, polar damn the damage of the gamma rays. Sun large, Vanna stay neutral. Sway juice crew, bloodbath 4-page blue through. Blinking halogen, hand wrist, ear to ear boulder. Bucking ear shoulder, brandish rapier. Granted we late here. Told you it's Cobra, damn niggas spazzed out and went ape here. You know the shape here. Flagrant 850, Jacob ear caresser here to finesse Jabbar Al to do it. God spit fluid in earth. Since y'all heard sewage is birth, but I knew what it's worth. I to stay seeing mine. Roman time defined. MM11, gem, sun from one sentence the funds come cascading. Rap bladed with catch matrix like the movie Ruby colored. That mean the fire in his heart cause he truly love it. I call this one beloved. 1 Samuel 1, ask the God, he planned our life well. Niggas need to read the manuals. For the jewels, read the manual. Big jewels, big tools, spit jewels. Rip through your top banana. You Tony Montana with that Joe? It's only my cannon, scab spit arrows, illest album recorder. Jabbar as Falco, Sunlar's count low. Long dough, big cars, fly jewels. Yo son, count slow. Count slow.
War explodes into the backcountry. There is a phantom Indian chief in the wilderness. This machine at random. My anthem, imaginative, ravenous, malicious races find the origins of heaven and hell and the symbols that represent them. The Italians built a great metropolis on a lagoon. In time, great changes at its boom. While creatures wrecked the town, many battling MCs are shot to death, a multitude in a room. After stealing information from the Atlantis database, I make a great escape. The struggle for mob leadership leads to an endless cycle of murder and blood feuds at a later date. DEA agents patrol the 1,800-mile Mexican border. A group of rock climbers must prevent mercenaries from using a destructive weapon. 88 tales of horror. Dr. Frankenstein creates a soulless monster from cadavers and tries to hide it from the old world. The wind turned a cold swirl. A Morocco gypsy sold pearls. The fallen pilot awakes alone after a crash. Hits aerial danger. Police and archaeologists remove skeletons from a burial chamber. From the city to the woods, or when the sun shines good, the robot tank once a specter where a graveyard stood. Yo, from the city to the woods, when the sun shines good, the robot tank once a specter where a graveyard stood. Perhaps you and your friends are never seen again. The ghost of a lovely lady, the tall grim reaper in the wind. Bruce Banner seeks an antidote for a bacteria contaminating a desert town. A civilian plane carrying a movie actress is later shot down. A bitter ex-convict makes a capture man a slave, a lesson hard nailed. An alien creature must be destroyed after a government plans to use it as a weapon fails. Before their time, ancient technology, rain, snow, and then hail. A group of people who have telekinetic powers, dead men tell no tales. Apache warrior, Cherokee warrior, no book written is scarier. Paleontologists, students, and forest rangers encounter a legendary creature in a deeply wooded area. Dark as a pilot, I ran my aircraft into an enemy bomber over Los Angeles, preventing the destruction of California. On the hillside lies your grave, all covered with begonias. On the mic I smashed, causing a train crash and stampede with such words. Strange bargain, schoolhouse, from Alfred Hitchcock to Birds. A dark space station captain is accused of an intellect harm. We step off the street and shoot you 40 times to the restaurant. From the city to the woods, or when the sun shines good, the robot tank once a specter where a graveyard stood. Yo, from the city to the woods, when the sun shines good, the robot tank once a specter where a graveyard stood. You're a planet whose orbit straight too close to a black hole. None shall escape or remain in the desolate plateau. Be consumed by my savage sword, the man from a mountain hollow. Lyrically blown away in depression and misery from withdrawal. Whenever a season when a storm gathers, exposed in the cold crime. You are here to document the stressful reality of military life during wartime. I am the Holocaust, a burnt offering on the cliff, the fatal risk. To leave you none to remain in the black hole's gravity, decimates your escaping ships. Argues the existence of extraterrestrials in the days of the needle. Work evil threats to tear apart the robot tank's home planet and enslave its people. Grave robbers steal thousands of artifacts from archaeological sites, museums, and private collections. I'm a celestial being brought alive to perfection. A war machine to battle the evil unseen esoteric troopers. Engineers overcome yet preserve natural obstacles while paving the way toward America's future. The distance between the target and the launch point is crucial. Samurai, the elite warrior class, holds the reins of power in Japan for more than 700 years, and now I shoot you. From the city to the woods, or when the sun shines good, the robot tank once a specter where a graveyard stood. Yo, from the city to the woods, when the sun shines good, the robot tank once a specter where a graveyard stood. From the city to the woods, or when the sun shines good, the robot tank once.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. Same shit, ain't nothing changed. Out here getting it, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Mind on my business, you know what I'm saying? Get my money. What up with you, everything good? Alright. Is that right? Yeah, niggas better go handle that thing. Do what you gotta do, man. Handle your thing, boy. May the good Lord bless you with everything you hoped and wish for. Bless you. May you live a long life, make long money, sleep good at night. I do. I wish you nothing but the best. May you love real deep, may you laugh real big. I pray your enemies fail, and you ain't never gotta spend time in jail. May you travel safe and meet good people along the way. I hope you know you one of a kind, and you ain't gotta be like them, you're just fine. I wanna see you become wealthy, and more important than that, stay healthy. Godspeed, and pray you never had to lock horns with Pete. Oh hell no. Peace be with me, the dark and the light angels protect me. That's right. Life is about balance, you try to be cool but sometimes it gets violent. Peace be with me, the dark and the light angels protect me. Life is about balance, I'd rather be cool but out here it gets violent. Out the shadows let the moonlight shine on that. Keepers of the night, keepers of the holy. Rapping words, the spirit it is strong in me. I use the force. Careful with that shit, baby. I feel I'm still learning my own strength. Sorry if I wasn't perfect when you thought I should have been. I'm just a work in progress. I know. I encourage myself to be better and master the art. It's a long time coming, seemed like the other day. I was just being myself, they calling me a late bloomer. And I don't know if that's a compliment or insult. And I don't give a fuck, really, keep talking. Got 2 pair of watch like the Polo Kid. My time is so precious, why would I waste it? When a silly bitch like you would miss my chance to realize my greatness and become who I am. Dated, peace be with me. The dark and the light angels protect me. Life is about balance. You try to be cool, but sometimes it gets violent. Peace be with me. The dark and the light angels protect me. Life is about balance. I'd rather be cool, but out here it gets violent. Cause I take my gun off before I pray. I don't have a problem with meeting God halfway. Yeah, we believe in a higher force. And may God be with you through this war. Shit real out here, man. Crazy out here, man. Peace.